Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans. Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk. Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans. Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans.
Oh, how the time flies. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best in literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. See you there.
Joe Lapinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back. It is a new week, and we are ready to have another episode of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. But before we get started, I have to go on my soapbox once again. Because, I always get on my soapbox just before I bring the guests on. And something really, really bothered me. And I figured I would come on here and share with you guys. So while I'm talking, I'm going to pull it up here so you guys can see this. Because a lot of people may not realize that elections are not over. We have a runoff coming up. And the problem with the runoff is most people think that all we're doing are voting for the top 2 candidates for Secretary of State and the top 2 candidates for Judge, Civil District Court, Division E. But when I went to check out my ballot, and I'm going to actually post this, I'm going to screenshot this, and I'm going to post it to the Meet the World Image Solutions page so you all can see it. But when I went to my sample ballot, I found out that there's another amendment that's been kind of slid on in there. And now, for those of you here in Louisiana, we had commercials after commercials about telling us to vote for Amendment 1, which we did, Amendment 1 and Amendment 2, which we voted on. We were able to make a lot happen with those. But this new amendment came in that we know nothing about, and hardly anybody's talking about it. Shout out to Oliver Thomas Jr., who did talk about it on his radio show on WBOK, 12:30 a.m., but I've not heard a whole lot of other people talking about it. And what I'm afraid is going to happen is what normally happens. We're going to go into the ballot box, we're going to vote for our 2 candidates, and then we're going to see this amendment that they just snuck in on us, and then we're going to just say, oh, whatever. So what I want everybody to do is read this amendment carefully. I mean, those of you who are in New Orleans especially, you know about what's going on with the Sewage and Water Board. But there is a new amendment. I'm going to read it to you. It's Public Works HRC Amendment Section 5-301CC. And what it says is, shall Section 5-301 of the Home Rule Charter of the City of New Orleans be amended to change the composition of the membership of the Sewage and Water Board to remove 1 citizen member and include the chair of the Public Works, Sanitation, and Environment Committee of the New Orleans City Council, or its successor committee, a member of the committee appointed by the chair, or a civil engineer appointed by the chair. So basically what we are doing is we are taking off, we have certain seats on the board for Sewage and Water Board that are private citizens. They are a part of this board. That helps us to have a little bit more visuals as to what's going on with our Sewage and Water Board. But they want to remove one of these positions and put the Director of Public Works there, or the Chair of the Public Works, Sanitation, and Environment Committee, which probably is a good thing. But why are we removing a citizen position? What happens is we are actually losing some of the little bit of transparency we had before. So this kind of bothers me because nobody's talking about this. And we're already having issues with our Sewage and Water Board as it is. So I believe that everybody out there, do not sit at home for this election. We are voting on Saturday, December 8th. Get out there and vote. Make your voice heard. Because what we could be doing is if we sit at home and not vote, we could be saying yes to higher water bills. We could be saying yes to a whole lot of things that are probably not good for our city. So make sure that you read over this and make your voice heard on Saturday. And that's why I'm wearing my pin that says vote. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my first guest. Jennifer Reed has been doing so much with the youth. She's doing consulting work. She's doing Head Start programs. And now she is actually releasing her first children's book, which is available for pre-order for those of you who want to get this and then have it for right after the holidays. And so we're going to bring Jennifer on. She's going to talk about her work that she's doing with children and furthering education. And we're going to also talk a little bit more about this book. So Jennifer, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hello. It's a great pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you here. So, what I was just telling the audience was that you do a lot of work with early childhood education, as well as a lot of consulting work. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, when I say ours, my husband and I, our consulting firm is called JFK Consulting. And what we do is we help programs such as Head Start and Title I schools become efficient and effective. We help them pass their monitoring so that the low-income individuals can have positive safe havens for their children in their communities. We also ensure if they're having funding issues, we help them write their grants to keep their funding. So that's a huge part of what we do in our company. And it's very prevalent that we're doing this for low-income families.
Yes.
Because if the Head Starts move out of low-income areas, guess what? The children will have no structured environments to go to.
Absolutely. And that winds up being a slippery slope because we'll sit here and say that these kids aren't being educated, but we're not providing the programs for them to get education. And because they're not doing well in school, then maybe the schools aren't scoring as high, and which means that they're not going to get the funding that they need, so they can't wind up providing better education for these same children. So it's almost like they're being thrown away.
Exactly. And one of our main things that we do is we provide quality trainings for teachers so that they can teach at the highest quality because, you know, we look over quantity over quality a lot of times. We pack 20 kids in a classroom. Is that quality, or are we looking at the quantity of it? We're ensuring that you hire adequate teachers, because just because someone has a degree, that doesn't mean that they're the best fit for children in your program. We're working in New York City this week, and the question is, does this person represent your community? I tell programs across the nation, it's best to hire somebody that lives within your community, because if I don't live in your community, when I leave your community, I don't care. But if I live in your community and I get from work, I still care, because guess what? I live there.
Yes.
And people normally take better care of what they live around.
You're absolutely right. That's something that has been a really big point of discussion right here in New Orleans, because and this is not a hit against these teacher programs that bring teachers from other cities into New Orleans, because the teachers are needed. But what happens is we put teachers into these classrooms who don't live in the communities, and just like you said, they're not invested. They don't have a reason to care other than to teach. And then the children, they sense that and they don't feel cared about, and so they kind of rebel.
Exactly. Perfect example, you should know your community's culture. I was just in New Orleans working last weekend. It's a whole different culture, a beautiful culture, but if I'm not from there, I don't understand your struggles. You know, why Johnny is sleepy every day he comes to school. If I'm not from there, you know, I might think every child should come to school ready to learn. But if Johnny doesn't have electricity, if Johnny's mom works third shift and Johnny has to go stay across town with his grandmother, Johnny has other obstacles that he's facing before he even gets to school.
Yes.
And if I don't understand your struggles, you know what I'm going to do to Johnny? I'm going to write him out so that he can go to a special needs classroom. And now Johnny's labeled, and I don't have to deal with him, because remember, I have 19 other children, and I don't have time to deal with Johnny.
And that's scary, because you're right. Johnny may have a lot of things going on. He may be hungry because he didn't eat. He may have had to fight his way to school, and now he's still up on everything that he was fighting to get through. There's so many things that could be happening to Johnny, but because he's not paying attention in school, we've written him off, we've thrown him away. So now he grows up thinking that nobody cares about him. That's a scary thing.
That's the inspiration from the book, Love.
So let's talk about I'm sorry.
Okay. The title of you're fine. The title of the book is called Stop, No, and Go. Our children at the age of 2, 3, 4, and 5, that's all they hear. An adult saying stop, no, and go. And as adults, we don't never tell our children, stop what? Stop running, stop picking, stop teasing. No to what? No, don't go across the street. No, don't say that.
Yes.
And go where? We always follow the commands. And the main focal is, the book is a picture book. Because in a different country, stop, no, and go, it should be a universal language.
Yes.
But it's truly not. So we can see the different cultures explain the book as they do in their own culture. And the book, it starts off with this little guy and this little girl, you know, that they're having their daily adventures in life. So mommy is tired. Mommy's just saying stop, no, and go. And they start to feel depleted in life. But by the time they go through their, you know, their daily routine, because mommy is showing them love, because she's making sure they're getting the minimum that they're supposed to get out the house. She makes sure they eat. She makes sure they're washing. She makes sure they had a roof over their head. But when they get to the end of the book, she says, through it all, remember, I love you.
Yes.
And that's what our children don't hear. The love that our parents truly have. No matter how hard I've worked all week, I may be dog tired.
Yes.
But as a parent, I have to make sure that my child knows if nobody else loves you, mommy loves you, daddy loves you. No matter where daddy is, because daddy may not be home with us, but daddy loves you. And as a society, that's what we have to impel in our children, because there's so much hate in the world.
And, you know, I think you just said a mouthful right there, because I still believe that a lot of kids who we say are bad aren't necessarily bad. It's like it's not that they're choosing to be in this situation. Don't get me wrong, there are some kids out there who just act up. And, you know,
Exactly.
yeah, and they're going to act up. But many times there are kids out there who just don't believe that they're cared about. They don't believe that they're smart. And sometimes, and I've seen adults like this. When I was in the military, we had some soldiers who, because they didn't understand the material that was being taught in a certain course, they compensated for that, for trying to be funny, for trying to be a clown, for trying to make everybody laugh. And so it takes our mind off of the fact that they have no idea what they were supposed to be doing. They have no idea what to do when they run across a casualty, or they have no idea how to make sure that person is okay, because they want to just make jokes and make everybody laugh and take their minds off of it. And that actually stems from growth sometimes when they're growing up.
Perfect experience. You can have a set of twins, and it's called nature versus environment. You can love one twin all day and watch how that twin blossoms, versus you can just sit another twin in a cold environment and watch the different attitudes. And I think it's a true experiment, but it's a harsh experiment, because we're dealing with lives. You can do the same thing with a plant. Plant a seed, don't talk to it, and barely water it, and watch how it grows, versus a plant that you can put in the direct sunlight, talk to it, and love it. Which plant do you think is going to blossom more?
Absolutely.
The one that you gave attention to.
You know, another good example of that, maybe a little bit more of a popular media example, is the movie Trading Places. This movie came out in 1989, but it is so true.
Oh, yeah, Trading Places is a good one.
Absolutely. I mean, this man who's on the streets conning people, you take him out of that environment and put him into a rich environment, and take the rich man and put him into the poor environment, and watch how their attitudes change.
Exactly. And we're just doing a huge social experience now, but the world acts like they don't understand. It's called gentrifying neighborhoods. You're pushing the poor out of neighborhoods, bringing a Starbucks in.
Yes.
And then that's attracting different types of people. So where's the poor going to go?
Exactly. They run out of the neighborhood because they can't afford to live there anymore.
Exactly.
Okay, well,
you can't afford to live here.
But this conversation is great, but unfortunately we have to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, Jennifer. We still have some time to talk with you, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. And I want you guys to stay there. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll be right back.
Oh, how the time flies. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best in literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. See you there.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
Well, what's up, everybody? This is boy Coach Hurricane Hemp. You can follow me on Facebook at Henry Singleton or on Twitter at HenryHayoU15.
Listen, this is your boy Fred. Listen, you can follow me on Facebook at Brandon Fred Jones, or you can follow me on Twitter at BFredJones.
This is Jeremiah Gray, man, with G Sports. You can follow me on Facebook, Jeremiah Gray, AKG, and on Twitter, G_paid-in-full 08.
Pay me the money! money!
And we're back. So this is your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am speaking with Jennifer Reed, who is an education consultant who specializes in early childhood education. Am I terming your title correctly, Jennifer?
You're right. You, it's an educational consultant.
Awesome, awesome. So we were just talking about what inspired you to write the book that you wrote. Let's talk a little bit more about the book. You said it's a picture book, and you told us about the experience or the inspiration behind writing the book. But let's talk a little bit more about what we can expect when we purchase the book.
You expect to see something that's going to connect with the average family. Statistics shows that everybody has 2.5 kids. I don't know where the 0.5 of the kid come, but it's 2 kids, and they're going through the average child's day of a play, and it's narrated to the visual context of what we see on a daily basis. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna be in my mom's house because, you know, at a certain time I have to be at home. That's how it was when I was growing up. When the street lights came on, guess where you had to be?
Absolutely, inside.
Not on your way there, but inside.
Yes.
And they're going through their daily routines, and it shows mom that, hey, mom is there in the house. She's doing exactly what she's supposed to do. She makes sure that we have a roof over our head. Mom makes sure that we have a full meal. Mom makes sure that we go to bed. Mom makes sure that we go to school. But throughout the day, what do children need? Children need love.
Yes.
And love does not come from the iPhone X, Max, whatever it's called. Love doesn't come from the iPad. Love comes from attention.
Okay, but
and that's what you should expect from the book.
Well, let me play devil's advocate just for a second. What do you say to somebody who says, you know what, that sounds all well and good, but that just sounds like a bunch of do-gooder stuff. I mean, these kids have love, but they choose to be bad. They choose to be out in the street. They choose not to do well in school. What is your answer to somebody who would say something like that?
The answer to somebody says that their child chooses to be bad, I always question and say, do you allow them to be bad? Because remember, you are the guardian. You are the responsible person for this child. So if that's the case, I would look at this person and say, no, you allowed your child to be bad. You allowed your child to be out in the street. Because any parent can tell their child what to do. It's all in how we raise them. And the difference between me being born in the 70s and children being born in the 2000s, somebody forgot how to raise people. The streets can't raise you. The person who had you was supposed to raise you. And that person just gave you what they learned. And, you know, it's crazy that you asked that question. I just read the Willie Lynch letter today, a part of about the black wedding, but you know what he called it. It was the black wedding. And he told us, if we put two blacks together, make sure that you put a conflicting black with a submissive black. And once they have two children, and the conflicting person raises the children will be conflicted.
That's interesting.
So we only do what we see. It's very interesting. I advise everybody to read the Willie Lynch letter. And it goes to show that children do exactly what they see their adults do. When you think about this, when you see loud adults, 9 times out of 10, what are their children? They're loud. You see adults, like you said, the do-gooders. You see do-gooders, 9 times out of 10, you know, they're do-gooders. You always have that 1% that's going to do what they want to do. But if you constantly, and this is the key word, being consistent. Yeah, every child is not perfect, but if you're consistently saying, all right, you better be in this house when the street light comes on.
Right.
And for every reaction, there's a consequence or reaction.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
I break the rule, it's a consequence. I break it again, I know it's a consequence. Unless I enjoy consequences, now there's a mental issue going on. But if you are it's the truth. But if I'm a normal person, the normal person don't like a consequence. Do you like a consequence? If you speed, you get a ticket. That's a consequence.
That's a consequence.
And every time you speed, you remember that consequence. Because when we get adults, our consequences are a little different. It costs us money and time.
Yes.
As a child, it's just going to cost us time because mommy may take the iPad away. Mommy may say, I can't go outside. But consequences are consequences, and parents have to be consistent. She can't go back and say, tomorrow you can stay out until the moon gets to 90 degrees. No, she has to be consistent. When the street light comes on, you're in the house. That's just being consistent.
You're right.
Yeah, but that's...
So we have about a minute and a half left. Can you please remind the audience the name of the book? Let them know, it is available for pre-order. Let us know when it will be available.
The book should be available January the 5th. The name of the book is Stop, No, and Go. And you know what? It's a picture book because we have to remember the literacy rate is still not where it should be in America. So if you can't read, it's okay. Get a book. Your child will never know. And if you want to add words to make this book fit your situation, add the words. Nobody won't never know because the book is what you make it. Again, the name of the book is Stop, No, and Go, and it's available January the 5th, but it's on sale now for pre-orders.
It's Stop, No, and Go. It is published by
No and Go.
Yes, and it's published by Prosperity Publishing out of San Antonio. They have been releasing a number of great books. The PhD Game is one of them. Carolina Soul by noted celebrity chef Jerome Brown, who will actually be here in New Orleans on December 29th with the chef battle that's going to happen over at the Treme Hideaway. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show. But first of all, I want to thank Jennifer Reed for spending some time with us, letting us know about your work, about your book. How can people get in touch with you?
You can reach me on Facebook at Jennifer Reed. I'm just plain and simple. My email address is jlaf8498@yahoo.com. That's the best way to get in contact with me. And also, our website is jfkconsultnow.com. Perfect way you can message me through Consult Now.
Consultnow.com.
Yes.
Okay, absolutely.
Those are the...
I'm sorry, what were you about to say, Jennifer?
I say it was a pleasure speaking with you and your audience. I hope that they received a lot out of this from an early childhood perspective.
But thank you so much. This was a very interesting conversation, something that we can actually talk about for the entire hour if we had the chance. So I want to wish you much success on your book, Stop, Know, and Go, published by Prosperity Publishing. And you have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you. And I'm gonna join you on the YouTube cast now.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right. So we will be right back.
Thank you.
And when we get back, we are going to be talking with a motivational author. I mean, this man has been out there doing it, letting everybody know who he is and what he's all about. He has a book called Your Gift, Your Passion, Your Purpose, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it with author Robert Bay as soon as we get back from these commercial messages.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
And we're back. We just finished talking with Jennifer Reed. Awesome conversation about early childhood education. Now we're going to move it over to adults and inspiring and motivating adults. So we have now author Robert S. Bay, who has written a wonderful, wonderful book that he's about to tell us all about. Mr. Robert, are you there?
I am here. Can you guys hear me?
I hear you great. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Oh, thanks so much. Now, you know, I asked you before. We didn't get a chance to finish talking about it. But what's going on with the...
These are beads. These are beaded head wraps or headbands. And they're handmade. You see a lot of people in native cultures, especially Native American cultures, Aboriginal cultures, wearing something like this.
Okay. Now, what is your inspiration or what is your motivation for wearing this beaded headpiece?
Well, I'm actually Native American. I come from the Cherokee tribe. My grandmother is Cherokee, full-blooded Cherokee.
Wow.
And yeah, my great-grandmother, she's still alive. So a lot of that tradition got handed down to us, and a lot of that oral history got passed down to us. So, it represents my heritage, a part of my heritage. So that's why I wear it personally. And, I'm just doing a lot of research and studying about Native and Aboriginal cultures in America. We have a lot more in common, in regards to Africans and Native cultures than we've been led to believe. So the link is very strong between Africans and Native Americans.
Well, that's amazing that you have decided to not only adopt that part of your history, but to continue to spread it. Sometimes I think we expect people when they have two very strong cultures in them, we expect them to choose one over the other.
Right.
And
Right.
it sounds like you have embraced both cultures.
As we should, absolutely. I feel as an original person, as a native person, it brings a balance to understand and dive into both cultures. You don't want to close yourself off or just limit yourself off, because you're going to miss out on other aspects of your own self that you probably didn't know was present. So yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. So let's talk, before we jump into your book, what is it that you do? What led you to the point of writing a book?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
For most people, you know what you're doing. Shout out to the Big Easy too.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Out there, we had a great time. I got to meet you in person, and a beautiful spirit. What led me to this book? That's a good question. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, or told me 10 years ago that I'd be writing a book, I would have laughed you out of the room. So this has been a long journey for me. For the primary portion of my life, I've been an artist in the music industry. I still do, but I had a beautiful music career as a hip hop artist.
Okay.
Got to travel the world, been in magazines. I've been on MTV and feature networks. And I came to a point in my life where my light bulb kind of just started to go off. And I'm like, man, I'm popular and I'm known, but I don't even know who I am. Who am I? What am I doing? What am I talking about? And it really made me step away from the music and really go on a soul journey to figure out who I was. So I would say for a good 5, 6, or 7 years, I stepped away from the music, and I was reading, studying, meditating, speaking to elders, traveling. I mean, you name it, to connect with myself. And after, getting a holistic perspective of myself, my people, where we come from, why we're here, it led me to my life's purpose. And one of those attributes is writing. And, that started me on the process. And I'd say it took like 2 years on and off, but I finally got the process done, and now we're here.
Wow. So for 5 or 6 years, something that you said really stuck out. You weren't just reading and researching. You were actually talking to elders. You were getting that oral history. And I think that's something that we neglect a lot of times.
Absolutely. And that's so important, especially being melanated, peoples of America. We are so dependent upon European narratives, and Europeans, that's a third party narrative. You can't rely on that 100%. Yes. And if you go back to our ancient and African cultures and native cultures, a lot of the tradition was passed down orally, and that's because our elders were still there. They were right next to us. Our great grandparents and grandparents were right there. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury like we did, back then. But for those who do, I would definitely recommend that you tap in. If your grandmother's still here, your great grandmother, your great grandfather, your grandfather, your uncle, your great uncle, whoever the case may be, sit down with them and pick their brain as much as possible. They're a living oracle, and they have jewels upon jewels to deliver.
One of my favorite pictures that I took of my daughter. This was before my great aunt died. We went to visit her. She used to live what used to be the Lafitte Project. That's right across from Dookie Chase, which is a very famous restaurant owned by Leah Chase. And she would sit on her porch, and she had gotten older. She really couldn't go out a lot, but we would go and visit her. And so one day she was sitting on the porch, and we were all visiting her, and my daughter was sitting next to her, and my great aunt was just talking to her, giving her that advice that only a 100-year-old woman can give. Yes. And I took that picture of him, and I love that photo where my daughter's just sitting there, just kind of listening. She's just
it up.
Yes, she's just sitting there, just intent. And I think that's something, like I said, many times we neglect that. We think, oh, she's old or he's old. They don't know what they talk about anymore. They don't realize life is different now. And so we neglect that oral history.
Right. Ain't nothing new under the sun. They'll tell you all the sayings that, that people say all the time, they come from the elders. And you'll come to find out, when I was young, I used to be like, man, I ain't gonna be nothing like my parents. I ain't gonna be nothing like my dad. And every day I'm turning into my dad more and more and more. So it's inevitable, absolutely. So
okay, now you're not like that commercial. What is that? That Geico commercial where they said he's turned into his dad.
That's me. That's me. I'll be all day. Absolutely.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break, but when we get back, I want to dive into this book because, first of all, the title just captures your attention, and then
Thank you.
before even the title, the book cover itself is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
It sounds like it looks like you really put a lot of work into this book and making sure that it not only looks good, but it has good material inside of it. So we're going to talk a bit more about your book as soon as we get back from this commercial break. So while we're gone, we want all of you to stay right where you are, but remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe because we're about to jump into this and help everybody to find their passion and their purpose. So you stay right there. We will be right back. This is Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions.
What it do, y'all? It's DJ Slick Daddy from the Liveline, here to tell you about the hottest bar on the West Bank, After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelco Boulevard in Gretna. Come check us out on Monday for steak and oyster night, Thursday free seafood night, Friday 3-for-1 happy hour, Saturdays ladies night and always open for parties, and then Sunday Saint Sunday, oldie but goodie Sunday. Come find out what is hidden for at After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelco Boulevard in Gretna. Doors open at 6, 12 p.m. on Sundays. After Dark is a non-smoking atmosphere.
Hey yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ Slick Daddy.
This DJ Slick 514.
And of course, I'm your girl, Black Coco.
Tune into the Liveline, New Orleans Talk Network, every Tuesday, 7 to 8:30 with all the trending topics.
And you can also check out my mix, DJ Slick Mix Pro 1 and 2.
And of course, check out Coco's Sex Tips of the Week.
And hashtag TTBS. That's that bullshit. It's the Liveline, New Orleans Talk Network, Tuesday, 7 to 8:30. We're always live. Let's go.
And we're back. That was a quick break. I don't know. My producer almost got me. He lucky I heard the music. Okay, so we are sitting here talking with author, musician, motivator, researcher, Native American. What else can we call you now?
You hit it all on the head. You hit it on the head right there.
This is Mr. Robert S. Bay, and we're about to jump into his book. So tell us about this book.
Yeah, absolutely. So this book is called Your Gift, Your Passion, Your Purpose.
Yes.
And to me, I think, this is the most important thing that all of us can tap into because, your gift, for the most part, all of us, we know what our gifts are because we're naturally good at it. It's your
Yes.
God-given talent. You're born with it. Some people are good drawers. Some people are good swimmers. Some people are good basketball players. I mean, of course, it takes practice and focus and determination, but you know what you're naturally good at. So most people have that down. Your passion is another easy one as well. We all know what gets us excited. We all know what gets us fueled and what gets us going and up and ready to, pursue what we like. That's your passion. That's the fire inside of you. So a lot of people have a good grasp on that for the most part. There's some people still, experimenting and searching.
Right.
But your purpose is the most important thing that you can obtain or have revealed to you on this earth because it's your divine mission. It's the reason you were sent here on earth in the first place. And, purpose to me represents fulfillment. There's a lot of young people out there who think they want the money, they want the cars and the clothes and the women or whatever have you. that's just a byproduct of success. There are a lot of rich people who will tell you right now that have all that'll tell you right now that they're not fulfilled.
Well,
and
I'm gonna have to jump in there real quick, because let's just say that there's somebody who doesn't have a whole lot and they're listening to what you're saying.
Right.
They're going to say that this is easy for you to say. You were traveling the world with the music industry. You had the money and the cars and the women and all these other kind of things. People who have all of this money, they can say, oh, it's not worth it. But when there's somebody out there who doesn't have it and they're trying to get it, they don't want to hear that, oh, it's not worth all of that, because they're going to say, well, it's easy for you to say. So what do you say to somebody like that?
That's a great perspective to have. There's a quote, I forgot who said it. I think Jim Carrey said it. He said, I wish and I pray and I hope that you get everything that you wish and you pray for and you obtain it, because you're going to realize that it's not what you want. Now, I'm not saying, not to want money, not to want cars. I'm saying that if you're lucky enough or privileged enough, or if you work hard enough to obtain these things, don't think that that's the end of the line, the end of the race, because there are millionaires and billionaires who have all of that money, who still commit suicide, who still are depressed, who still are, miserable. Why? Because they haven't tapped into their purpose. They haven't tapped into why they're here, and they still feel empty. They still feel unfulfilled, even with all the material possessions. So it's a valid perspective, but at the end of the day, that money, those cars, these women, it's not going to fulfill you. To be honest, when I was traveling and doing everything I wanted to do with music, I really didn't have a lot of money. It was my passion that was fueling me. It was my passion that was opening the doors. It was me staying focused on the things that got me excited, and the universe and the elements always made a way for me, on my journey.
Okay. Now the next question is, there are people who spend their whole lives looking for their purpose. So what in your book helps that person to find perspective on what their purpose may be?
That's a great question. And that's one of the key things in the book. I tell you in the very beginning, this book is not going to tell you your purpose. No one can sit here, look you in your face, and tell you your purpose. Your purpose can only be revealed to you by the universe, or by the Most High, or by God, whatever name we want to use. It's a revealing, and it can only be revealed to you through experience, through self-analyzation, through soul journeying, through a multitude of variables that you have to employ and activate within yourself. Because once you change the frequency and your awareness, your dots will start connecting. Your gifts and your passions, they're the lines and the dots that end up connecting you to your life's purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So basically, the book just helps people to channel that, helps them to maybe just focus. And it's going to take a lot of prayer. It's going to take a lot of meditation for them to really understand their purpose and to find out what their purpose actually is.
Absolutely. It's going to take a lot of self-analyzation. It's going to take you questioning yourself. It's going to take certain perspectives. It gives you a holistic perspective and different thought paradigms that's going to allow you to look at yourself from inside and out and all around in ways you probably never thought of. And it also has key exercises, key points, key thought patterns. There's a multitude of tools in here that by the time you finish this book, you'll be looking at yourself in a totally different way, and you'll be looking at your reality in a totally different way that will make it that much more easier for you to align with your purpose. It's kind of like driving on a road with your headlights out, no GPS. You're just bumping into stuff, bumping into potholes and whatever have you. When you tap into your gift, your passion, your purpose, this is like turning your navigation system on, turning your headlights on, having your MapQuest up or your Waze app. You know exactly where you're going. You're anticipating the bumps, and the lights are on. It electrifies your path. So that's what this book does.
Okay, so now you didn't just figure this out in this 5 years. This had to have been something that you have been thinking about prior to you taking this 5-year hiatus.
Absolutely. This book took me 36 years to write. I'm 36 years old. This book took me my entire life to write it. The actual process of putting pen to paper, that was a 2 to 3 year process on and off. But this book took me 36 years. This is 36 years of my life. I personally like to take advice from experiential people, meaning people who have experience in the subject matter at hand. So if you don't have experience in something that I'm asking you about, I'll listen, but I probably won't value, your opinion is as much as somebody who's actually been through it.
Right.
So I'm telling people what I went through. I mean, I've been through it all. I've been to prison. I've been to college. I've been homeless. And now I'm living great. I'm doing well for myself. And it all took me to realize who I was and why I was here. I had to question myself. Why am I here? What am I here to do? Why do I want to do it? It's so easy to get caught in the cycle of monkey see, monkey do. So a lot of people are chasing dreams that are not theirs, and that's why they keep bumping into brick walls. If you weren't meant to be an NBA basketball player and you're spending your life trying to be an NBA basketball player, you're robbing yourself in the universe of your own individual expression of what you were really sent here to do.
So okay, let's say I've read your book. I found my purpose. I've taken some time to understand what it is I'm here to do. Now what?
Now you know what you do. You know what? That's a great thing too, because I tap on that in the book as well. Because knowledge is not power. People say knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. That's not true. The application of that knowledge to your life is true power. So once you understand and know your purpose, you'll feel it. You'll know all the signs will be there. The dots will connect. Now it's time for you to act on it. And now it's time for you to embody it and be who you were sent here to be and be the best version of yourself. And once you tap into that, your life will completely change. The energy will completely change and everything around you will completely change. I guarantee it.
Okay, I hear you. You have an answer to everything, don't you? Come on now. Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Now I was stalking your Instagram, and it looks like a number of people have really tapped into your message in the book. You have a lot of people who have ordered the book, and I'm sure that these aren't just a bunch of friends of yours who are trying to support. These are people who have actually purchased the book. So what type of feedback have you gotten from readers?
Well, the book has been out about 2 weeks now. I've been getting daily tags and posts of excerpts from the book, quotes. People are starting boards, goal boards, vision boards, purpose boards, whatever have you. I mean, the feedback has been phenomenal. I self-published this book. This is my first book. I'm new to this process. I'm going to be pushing day in and day out. But the feedback has been great. I'm saying? This book is not about me. It's about us. At the end of the day, we are all individuals in a collective experience. And I touch on this in the book. And the way I like to use the metaphor, remember when we were in elementary school and you sit down in class and our teacher used to give us that piece of paper with the dots on it, the connected dots?
Yes.
And it wasn't until you connected each and every single dot in order. Until you did that, you would see the totality of the picture. And that's what it is. All of us, I look at all of us as individuals on this earth. I feel if we're able to tap into our gifts, our passions, and our purpose, it's going to all align us in a way that we can see the totality of what this experience is on a collective level. And we can see it from a greater vantage point that will advance humanity in a way that we've all been hungry for and we've all been desiring, these last couple of decades especially.
Absolutely. So I'm very excited. I have a copy of the book.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen.
And I really feel like I already know my purpose. I mean, I think I'm living in my purpose right now. Wow. But I want to read the book because I may be able to walk even more fully in my purpose once I'm done.
Absolutely. And you are walking in your purpose. And I want everybody to understand that your purpose isn't one singular act. It's not necessarily one thing you're sent here to do. It's a journey. It's about the journey. The journey is just as important, if not more important, than the actual destination. So I don't want people getting, racking their brain like, I got to figure out why I'm here, what to do. No, it's the actual entire process. It's the actual entire journey that matters, So that your purpose isn't just one single thing you're sitting here to do.
Okay, and you don't have to pull a Julia Roberts and do a Eat, Pray, Love thing, right?
No. No. We're keeping it organic. We're going to keep it real. You know what I'm saying? We're all dealing with day-to-day life as it comes, and like I say in the book, I even slip. I fall. This is my anchor. This is my foundation. When I feel off or off course or whatever the case may be, I have something to, snap me back or pull me back into my foundation, which all of us should have,
Absolutely. Well, I want to first congratulate you. I mean,
Thank you.
You said it took you 36 years to write this book. That was just the thought process, but actually sitting down and putting pen to paper is something a whole lot of would-be authors have not done, because they let fear get in the way, they let life get in the way, they let other people's doubts get in the way, but you didn't do that. So that's my next question: is what was it that gave you the bravery to say, you know what, I've heard all of this. I know people are probably going to ask me, who am I to tell them what their purpose is? But I'm going to write this book anyway.
Right. I mean, ultimately, not to sound morbid, but I'm going to die. We're all going to die. We're all going to transcend and leave this physical form. And at the end of the day, you're going to look back and say, man, what was my legacy?
Yes.
What did I leave here that could, advance people, help people, ignite people's minds? And at the end of the day, I wasn't gonna let fear or the fear of people's opinions or perceptions of me be the ultimate determining factor as to why I don't step in to my purpose, And so the ultimate thing was my legacy. What do I want to leave? If 20 years down the line, if my daughter or my son picks this book up and says, "Hey, my dad wrote this book, and man, this really makes sense right now, and I needed this in my life." So legacy is more important than opinions and perspectives and all of that. My legacy is what I really focused in and honed in on, and what I want to leave for others here.
Absolutely. Well, where can people find this book?
That's a good question. You can order it directly from Amazon. You can get it on paper book, or you can get it on ebook. It's at Amazon.com. You can type in your gift, your passion, your purpose, or you could just type in my name, Robert S. Bay. Once again, it's Robert S. Bay. You can get it for paperback or ebook via Amazon.com.
Okay. All right. And we have put the link to your website in the comments, so people will just be able to click on that and order your book.
Hey, beautiful. I appreciate it. I'm going to put more people onto your show. I love what you're doing. It's crisp. It's fresh. It's real. It's organic. It's a great flow.
Thank you.
It's just a natural vibe here,
Thank you. I mean, we're only continuing to grow. As I mentioned earlier, this show has only been on the air for about a year and a half, and we've come a long way from our first episode up to now, and we're just going to continue to grow and continue to build. We actually just got onto Podbean, so your episode will be on Podbean probably by morning, and eventually we're going to be on iTunes. So we're just going to continue to grow and do this thing and spread the word, because we have too many wonderful authors who come on this show who need to get exposure, and we don't want to waste that opportunity.
Absolutely. More blessings to you. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And thank you for coming on the show tonight. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
If you ever need the support of myself or Meet the World Image Solutions, all you have to do is just email me. You know how to get in touch with me now.
Absolutely, Queen. I would definitely be reaching out, tuning in, putting more people onto the show, and I'll be back when I finish my next book.
That's what I'm talking about. We're waiting for you. Okay, so thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you all for tuning in. Do not forget, we have big things coming up this month alone, and then in the next couple of months. So first of all, those of you may have heard about it, we have the first ever NOLA versus Carolina Chef Battle. And tickets are on sale right now. They have been selling. We don't want you to miss out on this. And we don't want you to miss out on this opportunity that if you purchase your ticket by Saturday or by Saturday night, you will get $10 off if you use the promo codes. If you are Team Carolina, then type in Carolina to get your $10 discount. If you are Team Dell or Team New Orleans, then I want you to type in NOLA for your discount. We want to make sure that we have a good battle going on and that each of these chefs have support. And for those of you who don't know who Chef Rome is, Chef Rome has been on the Food Network. He's been on ESPN. He's been on the 700 Club. He's been on Sister Circle Live. He's been on so many things. And then Chef Dell, he's no slouch now. Chef Dell has been he has not been on TV, but he's about to be on TV. But he has cooked for the New Orleans Saints. He has cooked for Drago's. If anybody's been to New Orleans and had those oysters, he was the man who was doing that. He has been a chef at Drago's, at Half Shell on the Bayou. He's cooked for Kansas State University. I hope I got that right, Dale. Let me know if I didn't. But he's done so many things, and he is about to take on Chef Rome, and we're going to see who gets that title. If you would like to be a vendor at this event, contact us. We are looking for 5 vendors to be a part of this event. And don't forget to go to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because the quality is so much better on YouTube than it is on Facebook, so we need y'all on YouTube. We're trying to move y'all over there. So just go to YouTube, and you can also go to Podbean and subscribe to the podcast. We are growing, we are soaring, and we want you to be a part of it. And lastly, do not forget to go in and like the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page. We're trying to get to 2,000 likes by the end of this month. We are close. We're like a little over 600 away. We can do this, but I can only do this with you guys. So make sure you go in and like the page, because there's so much going on and we don't want you to miss any of it. And lastly, save the date. Not lastly, one more thing, but save the date. February 22nd and 23rd is the 3rd annual Black History Month Literary Weekend, and it is going to be awesome. We have more guest speakers. We have a new band. We have a new venue. This thing is going to be hot, and we want you to be a part of it. And lastly, this is the last thing, don't forget to support Mrs. Louisiana Universal 2019. She has been doing so much. She's been in parades. She was on the Oliver Thomas show a little earlier this week. She's going to be on WDSU News on Sunday, so you don't want to miss that on Sunday morning. Also, she is having a PJs and Pancakes event absolutely free right here at the New Orleans Talk Network, December 15th. So come be a part of that. Bring your kids, and they can take pictures with Santa Claus. Right here, absolutely free, which means you have no excuse not to bring your kids to this event. And she is also doing a toy drive. So we want to donate as many toys as possible to the New Orleans Women and Children's Shelter. For those of you who may have been paying attention to our Instagram and Facebook pages, we Meet the World Image Solutions partner with Ladies Who Lunch and Support, and we donated a large number of clothing and shoes, business attire, nice business attire items, to the New Orleans Women and Children's Shelter to assist these ladies with feeling empowered and going back to work. Earlier in the month, just before Thanksgiving, we also donated a Thanksgiving basket to a New Orleans resident to assist her with what she was doing for Thanksgiving. So we are doing a lot. This isn't just about TV shows and making money. This is about being a change in our communities. So I want to thank each and every one of you who have donated to our charitable acts, our charitable services, and they're going to continue. Right now we have our fundraiser for the Meet the World Image Solutions Scholarship Fund, and we want you to be a part of that as well. We're just asking 85 more people to donate just $13. And if we can do that, we will have enough money to have our essay contest throughout this year. So we want you to be a big part of that. So that's all we have for tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you to Jennifer Reed. Thank you to Robert Bay for being a part of this show tonight. It was a great show, very interesting information, and we want to see you back here next week. So you guys have a wonderful week and a great weekend. We'll see you next week. This is Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions, and I'm your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. Bye-bye.
Oh, how the time flies. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best in literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. See you there.